So once again, DOA is caught in a bit of a mess. So let me give the background very rapidly for people just tuning in. Lara FM, DOA, and both of them have been very active in LA protesting Scientology. Although I would say protesting is not the right word, but it's hard to find the right word for what they're up to. So recently, DOA in early 2024 was, I guess, attacking this restaurant linked to Danny Masterson. And now, excuse a small kind of fact check or a reminder that the exact reasons behind even protesting that restaurant were never quite clear. A lot of people are noting that, yes, the attack, or at least one of the attacks, took place in the restaurant. However, there's no evidence that the restaurant collaborated with Danny Masterson. So it always felt a little thin. There's also a major contradiction with a lot of these LA Scientologists, ex-Scientologists, that namely for 20 years, they were not actively aiding the victims or even caring about this restaurant. So that seems a little bit of a massive contradiction. Remember, Aaron was in LA, right? When he was a Scientologist and he was in Los Angeles. Apparently he didn't have the time or energy, or even frankly, he cared about doing anything about Danny Masterson. Those are questions that his wife may have known about the Danny Masterson scandal, but didn't do anything. So it's a lot of question marks about what the hell the protest was all about. Well, now some people are going to be very clever and basically flip the script on Laura because she's about to play in the Viper Room. And the Viper Room has a very weird, dark history that's, yes, tied to Scientology and other cults. I'm not going to get into that. I will do that in a future video because that would just make this video way, way too long. So now there's a plan to have a counter protest at the Viper Room to protest DOA's predatory behavior. And DOA even responded, laughing at the whole thing, mocking them, and saying it's all one big joke. But there is a serious issue at play. So let me go to Dedant, who has done a very good job of tracking down DOA and his lies and hypocrisies. And he notes that despite DOA's vocal, and we're talking yelling and screaming, at the Danny Masterson restaurant, he doesn't seem to actually care about where people are victimized.
And like Dad did a video about me and Laura going out to the Rainbow Room. First off, I didn't even know what the Rainbow Room was. It's like the incidents at La Poubelle. The rest of the people come to the restaurant and they don't know about what's happened at the restaurant. I didn't even know about the Rainbow Room. I didn't know that there was any historical significance. I didn't know that Ron Jeremy like groped some people there. Like I didn't know any of that. You know, it's just like the people at La Poubelle when they come in, they don't know what's going on.
I can't believe they did that for marijuana. My cousin did it a year for a pound of marijuana.
Hey, girls, we're gonna drug you out of ring. I think she wants it.
Now, let me be fair to DOA. He explained the apparent contradiction of him being all upset at the whatever the thing is. I don't care anymore. And yet he took time with Laura at the Rainbow Room. Well, one, he said, well, he didn't know, right? He was ignorant about the history. Okay. And secondly, you can't save everyone. He's got to take a break. I think he's missing the larger issue. Even if we say, yeah, he didn't know, that's kind of the point. And I want to be a little sensitive here since I grew up on the East Coast of the US. So politics in the US is very contextual, sometimes radically contextual to the town or city or state you're in. So I want to be careful here that, yeah, I think it's plausible he didn't know the history of LA. But then that's kind of the point, is that if you're joining a major protest movement in LA, maybe you would do well to study LA. Instead, he just came in, just started tearing up the place, started positing all these weird Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle tunnel conspiracies. No, that's not an exaggeration. That's literally what he did. He started these weird rumors that the Scientologists were building underground tunnels. Yeah, they already have underground tunnels in anyway. So yeah, it's like apparently he discovered that sewers exist. So he's a bit of an idiot, and so it is plausible he could have been ignorant of the Rainbow Room, but I think he's missing the larger point, which is, I think, and again, I can't speak for these Viper protesters. Again, a lot of question marks about what they're up to, but just too much of these so-called protests are really just efforts at media stunts to raise the celebrity profile of the various so-called protesters and activists. And again, give DOA some credit. He is fairly frontal that he is there to perform, get his name out. He has a brand. I mean, the guy has 2 channels, merchandising store. Apparently, he's on eBay. He is basically a professional corporation at this point. So, yeah, they were always kind of obvious that they were there more to raise their name. However, there is a problem here because of the way they conducted themselves when they do these protests. If you're going to protest a restaurant for allegedly being a place where women can be harassed, then it doesn't help if you yourself are harassing women. And apparently, the local neighborhood does not support these people. They don't like them. In fact, Laura herself got into a weird altercation with someone who was getting tired of her yelling and screaming.
Even have to talk to us while we're walking.
You live on Edgemont, but I don't live in this neighborhood.
Look at her with that, you see? Somebody like this literally said, oh, wow. I hope you're gonna I know they do.
Very unhinged.
Just you. Look at you. Okay, 13174.
Please.
I can't believe that she knew my name. You knew my name. You just said, Lara, everybody knows about you.
No,
You're
pull up the
crazy.
tapes. Did I say her name?
Now, some people are suggesting that was a Scientology plant, right? That's not a real resident. That's just somebody put up by Scientology. Again, that's very plausible, and that is the dilemma. Scientology is a massive, massive corporation. It is fully within their power to, quote, create fake witnesses, fake activists. It's just capable of doing that. They do have the resources. However, there is a problem with being too paranoid. I mean, the fact is they wanted to get a lot of attention, and Laura and DOA have, and now they're paying the consequences, and now they're yelling and screaming, no pun intended, about their yelling and screaming. So it just seems all very theatrical, very performative. But the substance here is, what exactly is it? I mean, the cat is out of the bag too, so let's be fair. So these protesters are getting angry. She's going to play the Viper Room. She's already played the Viper Room. She played the Viper Room with Serge, I believe. And I don't have any good things to say about Serge, but Serge has also been very public. He's a dancer, he's an artist. And yes, he's been caught in photos hanging out with Jordan Masterson, the brother of Danny Masterson. I'm pretty sure Danny showed up at his art gallery, but we don't know for sure. So we don't have a photo of him next to Serge. But the whole Masterson family were friends with him for a while. So it all just feels very phony and superficial that it just seems to be at the end of the day, one set of Hollywood Scientologists are fighting another set of Hollywood Scientologists. They call themselves ex-Scientologists, but really, it just seems like two vicious groups fighting over a pot of gold. Why should we care? Why should we be involved? It's all very dicey and tricky. That said, there is, I think, a genuine larger point about these various locations in LA and the way they are tied to these histories with these cults and the way these cults have victimized people. So there is something serious here. But again, is this protest really going to raise a serious question? And is Laura going to respond calmly and rationally? Probably not. And again, I can't help but suspect, and again, I want to be careful, I don't want to be too paranoid, but Aaron Smith-Levin has made it very clear he's at complete war with DOA. So it's not beyond reason that Aaron has been, if not masterminding these things, definitely encouraging people to make DOA's life hard. Although, frankly, there's nothing to celebrate a victory over. I mean, DOA has said himself, saying he probably isn't going to stick around in LA. He'll only come back here and there for some court cases or to see Laura. And he's making moves to perhaps reorient his activism. So apparently he's already on the way out. But apparently some people just want him completely gone. And I don't think that's going to happen. DOA has done mostly bad things. However, one of the good things he has done is expose a lot of Aaron's hypocrisy and his egomania and need for controlling people, including Laura. That was a whole embarrassment months ago, him just trying to control Laura. It's hard to be on anyone's side here. However, if the protest does happen and it's done well, I think something substantive can emerge. But so far lately, yeah, the protest scene with Scientology in LA is just a complete mess. It's just a complete mess.